Very good morning and welcome. And hopefully the sound is clear and we can start translation now. I think most people have been connected. So yesterday there was a discussion after the retreat and Prashant was sharing the experience in his daily work about a patient that can come to a doctor with symptoms all over the body. So it could be like the feet are getting cold or there's a rash somewhere else, and complaints. It could be palpitations and like maybe 10 different kinds of complaints. But if the doctor is understanding that it's all coming from one thing, it's like one root, maybe something in the thyroid, then once you understand the root of it, then you cure that. You just remove the problem in the thyroid gland, then all the 10 symptoms disappear. Such a clear sort of analogy for the spiritual student, because the seed that was discussed yesterday of the illness and how Ravan's the illness for the soul and how it manifests in all these random ways, different ways, but actually it's all coming back to this one root. Body consciousness and also the essence of the solution is so simple, but we need to create time to experience, and the emphasis yesterday was on grasping the scale of the truth, and experiments also with understanding the seed of the problem. So looking forward to today's session, an invitation to all of you to share in the chat anything you would like to contribute, questions or reflections. And while we wait for your response, I'm going to perhaps go over now to Prashant, so we can make a start. So, welcome.
Are you going to call this translator?
Yeah, we've just started this morning because most people have been connected before. So,
excellent.
Thank you.
And hello and good morning. It is a nice day here in Cambridge. Lots of sun after 2 days of storm. But it was also nice. Many of us liked the storm and wind. It's a good drama. So let us create few moments of attention. And as always, we come to the essence. Life is lots of expansion. Drama is expansion, and ego takes us into even more expansion. So essence. And beautifully summarized, essence is a point. So we are coming to see the soul as a point in his timeless world, knowing that the soul exists forever. So during this minute, we don't need to go into any details. The story is going by its script, and everyone is immortal, everyone is okay. Now let us go to this soul as an invisible presence. Even as Prashant is talking here, mind can experience that region, supreme region, completely different reality, and see the soul as a presence, knowing that this dimension is timeless and not connected with anything else. His word is beyond harm. Behold this image of the presence in that light, world of light. And this is all we need to know. Exists forever. Thank you. Once the essence is addressed, you are safer to go into the expansion. There's a balance. Otherwise, we can be deceived in this expansion. There is imbalance. Sometimes we give a nice image. Imagine in your town, one person comes and he says he's from another planet, not just Mars, but beyond Mars. Many people will be interested to see him. People will come from other countries to see him. If he says he's of light, he's not made of flesh bones, different. And if he says he knows God, he's from that world, he's related to God, then even Pope will come to see this. And then he says he's immortal. The terrorists and anyone, guns, nothing can harm him. He remains the same. And because of all this, he doesn't know what sorrow is. His life is of silent bliss and happiness. He doesn't know what is sorrow and worry. Now, many, doctors from various countries would like to come and see what is this, someone who is immortal. Do you know anyone like this? Someone comes in a town, whole world want to come and see this person. Do you know someone like this? The biggest paradox is, this is the story of you and me. When we are talking about I, self, this is what you are. You are a person of light. You are immortal. You are from the family of God. You have come from beyond all these galaxies. Musafir. That's why you're an invisible traveler. And your personality is noble, immensely noble and divine. To be called divine royal is not an exaggeration. There is there is no reason for fikr, worry or sorrow. There is no reason. But all along there is this but. The only but is one can sabotage oneself, one can forget. That is no one else can prevent this, only we ourselves can deceive ourselves. So when we show that dotted line, Maya, Ravan, then all that, it is like self-inflicted problem. The big success of this Maya can give you some crumbs and make you lose something that is extraordinary. Just like terrorists, they aim to go for the tallest building, the best hotel. They will go for the best. They won't go and hit some little corner shop somewhere. They will go and do something sensational. So also here is the supreme reality of this invisible princess. And so the big terrorist, Ravan, for him it is a challenge. Let us get this princess experience degradation and sorrow. And he succeeds, goes to the complete other extreme. Those who were angels and deities, they can become Shudras and demons. Huge success of Ravan. And for no reason. It is like a self-inflicted, just confusion. So our success is addressing this confusion, unnecessary confusion. Understand that there is always a bait. You are offered crumbs, and what you lose is the crown. We will be using the board, but anyone want to say anything? Any comments?
Yes, we have a comment. This is from Nazanin. Maybe reflective questions, but if you choose to take them up. What will the life of an awakened soul be like? What will he think? What will he do on a daily basis? And how would he serve? Other than giving lectures.
That is not bad, to give lectures or at a confluence age you might have to do that also. So it is something very straightforward. Here we are seeing, what do you do when you are watching a drama? You are watching Laurel and Hardy. The part is going on. And one life is, I completely forget who I am. I am so angry with Laurel and Hardy and complaining about them, trying to tell them what they should not be doing and what they should be doing. That is one kind of life. Other life, you have understood what this Laurel and Hardy is, drama, and your mind is different. You are amused by this, and you are staying in another space. Here It is not do, even golden age, it is not, I have to do something, it is no compulsion about it. It is human being. You are enjoying that truth about yourselves and truth about others, and the greatness of others. It is a silent celebration. Human beings. But drama goes on. According to script, drama goes on. It may be golden age, it will be one kind of script, and iron age, it is Lauren Hardy script. Drama goes on. But what they feel, it is like, as we see, that nature of every soul is of bliss and love and peace and contentment and wisdom. And wisdom, it comes with ideas, creativity. All that is happening. So now, mind is not caught into grind of why, what, who. Mind is free from this. But human being. Najan, want to add anything? They might like to give a lecture sometimes. Even in golden age, they might like to give a lecture. The other deities. Nothing wrong with that.
Response was very funny. It's clear.
So here we see that this is a little nice model for us, because our field of action, and our victory, defeat is here. 100% of sorrows are because of this little box. And this is where we have to become free from. And have the right attitude towards this. Whole degradation happens in this world. From now, let us have this aim that you, me, the so-called I, this is alokik I, and only alokik can be the I, ever invisible. Remember this word, alokik, unearthly. That's a word Baba likes to use, unearthly. In this box, all is lokik. It is drama paraphernalia. Cinderella world is in this box. That is not you. It is a huge deception to be drawn into that and thinking you are Cinderella. The soul wakes up to understand that he is alokik, and he is loosely associated with this story. Observer, that's all we can be. That is a different reality. We said yesterday, different reality means dream is a different reality, dream reality. There's no exchange. You can't bring something, gold from your dream into this world. You're watching a film, it is a different reality. There's no exchange. You can only watch it and come home. To think you can have an exchange in a different reality is a deception. At present, we are deceived into thinking we can have an exchange in this. You fall in love with that, you want to own things within that. It's a different reality. And that's no different to any other film that you are watching. And so the awake soul remains the detached observer, full stop. He can't have any desire in it, no preference even within it. He just remain sakshi, detached observer. That's why that understanding, our connection with it is loose connection. Don't go further, then it is crossing the line, that dotted blue line, and that is the line of ignorance. Once you go into ignorance, ignorance brings more ignorance. That's why at present we are in the extreme ignorance, darkness of ignorance, drowning in it. Drowning in the sense we don't even know we are doing something so ridiculous and living in the story and completely forgotten about who we are in our world. So that is extreme degradation, intellectual degradation, but a fall. Whose fall? Of the invisible souls. It is not Prashant. Prashant is part of the story. It is a bit like we don't say Cinderella has become impure. No, actors are confused. Cinderella is a part that is going on. Plato uses the expression, don't know that we don't know. It is like a double ignorance. One is, I don't know. In psychiatry, there's one condition, neurosis. And he goes to a doctor, he says, I have a problem. You know. So other condition, psychosis, he says, I have no problem. You know. So insight is lost. It thinks I'm king. But everyone else has a problem. They don't accept I'm a king, but he says he has no problem. Then it is psychosis. So our present situation is we don't know that we don't know. So not just cross the line. It is like a extreme darkness. That's why when Baba comes, Baba's job is to tell them first there is a problem here, and they don't want to. They don't understand even why. Why you need to tell us anything? So the minutes and seconds of we need this, best intellect, best sight, best light, and in that environment we get a glimpses. Okay, this whole thing is a story. We are seeing that once we are seeing the bigger map, we can clearly see. Okay, this is just like that camel and elephant drama, and we used the example. Rini is acting in this drama, camel and elephant. But Rini has got her own world, her own parents, own home. If she starts thinking she's camel and elephant, then it is ignorance. So we are at present in that state, in thinking we are camel and elephant. Who we? The invisible actors. Invisible actors, they are invisible souls, they are invisible travelers, they are the invisible princess, they are the invisible angels, invisible presence. Seeing this objectively, we are avoiding the letter I, because this I is so much used by ego in that story. That's why for a period of time, to see objectively is good. See that there is a story of camel or elephant on one side, and other side there is the real people, and people, we are using that for the souls, and they are invisible travelers. That's the invisible family. Getting used to this. All of the, as you are thinking of this, playing with this, paras becomes stronger. that alaukic dimension, as you are playing with this, that if the paras becomes strong, the game, you win the game. When paras is not strong, and then it is, we are limping a little bit. It is a pathar. Repeatedly, you start glorifying the camel, want to make the camel into a spiritual person. Any others you want to add anything, Sarah, or any thoughts?
Yes, I personally find the neutrality around the story helpful, including this role. It's not that it's good or bad, but separating out the soul and the perspective of the soul when awake, then the character, and thirdly the ego. So you see them um, getting more clear about those three, separation between those three things, finding that useful. The question from Felisa, she said the question that came to her this morning, how is being courteous in an ordinary way, so some cultures can be very courteous, how is it different from the detachment of this alaukic being, the manners? I guess it's the being courteous at the level of camel and elephant. Did you want to?
Yes. The one is the drama. In many cultures, you have to respect in a certain way, you have to bow down 3 times, these rituals that are going on. The extra thing here, in your heart, you know the greatness of everyone. You understand, to the extent you know yourselves, you understand the immensely lovely nature of each and everyone. They are humble, they are harmless, they are clean, they are authentic, they are childlike, they are godlike. So from your heart, there is greatest respect, greatest love. That is going on. Externally, whether you bow down 3 times or you don't bow down, that is drama. But in your heart, there is love and there is respect. Immense love, immense respect. Any other thoughts?
Yes, this question comes through from Isabel. Hopefully Google translated it well. What I observe is that the more you accumulate being in the light, the more agitation there is of the ego, and it is like the heads of Ravan emerge with force. For what is this?
Sure. No, Ravan is there, under the surface, whether with force or if no one is rebelling, military is not doing anything. Military you see only if someone is rebelling, but military is always there. In the same way, Ravan is there, with his all whatever the strength he has. Once you tell that you want freedom, you come to know Ravan that is there. But defeat of Ravan is guaranteed because in the environment of light, shadows disappear, and this is guaranteed. Ravan has no choice. Straight fight between light and darkness, light wins, hands down. So, this is a game between light and darkness, really. Ravan flourishes in darkness. Here, we are not just fighting Ravan in darkness. Our aim is to bring light, create clarity, bring paras, whatever that helps. If some words, like here we have written the word halakhic, that helps you write it down. Create charts in your home. That I put these charts on the wall. And whichever word that helps you see the perspective of the soul, write those words. And then in your head there is light. And in the environment of light, this behavior of Ravan, existence of Ravan, will appear absurd. And you yourselves want to say, how can anyone create attachments in this little story? You find it strange. And that is success. You are defeating Ravan. Yeah, it may be for 5 minutes, but that is good. You are bringing clarity again. It is not that in the morning you had light, it will stay whole day. We need reminders through the day. But start the process. Just like ignorance brings more ignorance, this process of light and yoga and success, victory, that creates more light. It becomes an upward spiral. It is like that. You are moving up.
It's extremely empowering. So thank you. Feel free for Isabel to type anything else. Nazanin is asking, what is the difference between identifying to the characters and ego? I'm not sure if the question is clear.
Yeah, clear. We are using the word ego and identification synonymous. It is a false ego and it is a false identification. I'm going to read a short passage from the Murli of 26th of June 69. And just first page, first short. And Baba says, Baba is a father, Baba is a teacher, Baba is a guru. Guru is the highest relationship. Guru has got the secrets, and Guru knows the most refined knowledge, and he cannot give it to ordinary anyone. As a father loves everyone, and a teacher teaches, but Guru gives the secrets only to his most worthy disciples. So here the message, Baba is asking, you saw Baba is a father, teacher, guru. Okay. I'm translating here. So in what form does the teacher see all of you? And then Baba answers, teacher will see the students. He sees number-wise students. And in what form does the guru see you? Guru will see those who follow him. He will see those who are following him and those who are to follow him. He sees both. Okay, what's the main thing you have to follow him as a guru? So this becomes very essence. Baba gives lots of teachings as a father, teacher, but in the form of the guru, what's the main thing you have to follow? You can answer. This is like, this is the Murli of 26th of June, 69. What's the main thing you have to follow? So in his form as a guru, he gives teachings, and in these teachings, what are the main aspects that you have to follow? So today's Murli was about obedience. So here is as a guru, and if we are coming to the essence, Baba repeats, in the form of the guru, what are the main things you have to follow? Anyone want to, who has answered?
It's only a question: when the soul attains Kamati, does the relationship like the father guru with supreme end?
We'll come to questions later,
Yeah.
but at this stage,
Srimat was one answer, and to be detached.
Detached. Yeah, here in this gathering, someone answered remembrance, remembering God.
Soul consciousness.
So Baba is saying even remembrance is a method. But why is that? Why is that taught to you? Do you want to remember the Father? Why are you doing that? So the different answers. So pilgrimage of remembrance. Why is that pilgrimage taught to you?
To be incorporeal, to be combined.
Good, very good. So now Baba answers. The main aspects you have to follow in the Guru, in the form of the Guru, is become bodiless, egoless, and completely detached. Even the pilgrimage of remembrance is taught so that whilst in the physical, you can become incorporeal, detached, and bodiless. If you become bodiless now, you will be able to return with the bodiless guru. In the main aspects that we are following is this, and this is what you have to follow. So the great emphasis in becoming bodiless, egoless, and completely detached. This is the essence, where, as we are saying here, the whole essence, it is all directed towards this. If I was to ask you, what is the one thing, okay, you have to be detached. There are so many things we have to be detached from, some objects, and or detached from some people and some relations, money, gold. There are many things I may have to be detached. Within that, what is the main thing you have to be detached from? And I might place the emphasis 99%. In fact, Baba himself in another Murli put a emphasis 99%. What is it that you have to be detached from? There are many things. There's gold you have to be detached from, and food and objects. This is whole thing is a web here. That green box that is shown, it is a wonderful gift, extraordinary gift, but it is also a web. So there are things that we are caught in it. Agreed, we have to be free, and then you can enjoy the sky, enjoy the earth. Agreed. What is it that you have to be free from? There should be extra attention.
Some answers here: thoughts, vices, body, body consciousness, story, I and mine, drama, false identity, attachment, and the role.
Sure. Giving the example of Rini acting as a camel, the biggest attachment of of the actor is here with the camel. You are associated with the camel the most constantly. That's what happens. Whatever you are associated with, the more attachment can develop. So you are with this body 24 hours constantly, one role. And suddenly that role becomes so important and serious, and that has become I. So at a practical level here, here is an invisible soul associated with this drama story. And whilst he is associated with this story, he is playing this part of Prashant. And he not only thinks Prashant is mine, but Prashant is I. And the soul is thinking, is so much obsessed with this camel here, by name Prashant. And he may be thinking, I should be detaching myself from elephant and a dragon and everything else. But he doesn't see that he has to detach from the camel itself, ordinarily. One of the first steps for us, this paras helps the soul to become conscious. And the soul that is conscious understands that this Prashant itself is a part, temporary part within the story. The real, the actor is the invisible actor, Alaukik. He is that angel, he is the prince. When Baba says, children, Baba is talking to that invisible soul. He has to become free from this whole thing. But the extra attention has to be given to this role, Prashant. That is why avoiding this letter I to this camel, that is the first step maybe. Otherwise our language itself can create cultures. One a linguist will tell you, languages create cultures. Not just cultures create language, but you use a language in a certain way. That goes into the system, and so here there is Prashant. It is not I, and there is dragon. They are equally important. Dragon is as important, and camel is important, and elephant is important. And behind all this are the real beings, real family, real self. Then we are seeing in a paras way. If we can grasp this, then it is paras. Even for a few seconds, hold this, and then you might get drawn into it again, old habit. That's fine, but come back again with paras perspective. One reason we are drawing this drama in a very little box, so that we reduce the importance of this story. For ego, that story is so big. All the time thinking how to improve things here, improve things there, the relationships. That is where is huge emphasis. Paras, he gives, the sky becomes important. Alokik world becomes important. Yeah, you want to add anything? To say anything?
It's nice. The Alokik world becomes important because that's where everyone is fulfilled completely. So that's why it's the important.
I'll tell one nice little story here. In one of the parks here, there was one seagull, one bird, was playing with a dog. What it was doing, flying and making a circle in the park, fairly low. That dog is running behind him. And then this seagull is making one circle, making another circle, and this dog is running behind. And this bird is enjoying gliding around. And I said, this bird is very clever, and clever because keeping enough distance from the dog. You're looking at the dog, that dog is not able to jump. When it is keeping enough distance, it can enjoy the sky and also play with the dog also, enjoy the earth. The life of a bird is extraordinary. It can enjoy the earth in the most beautiful way. The seagull, it can know the whole thing. But if this bird was to come too close, game changes. Completely, very differently, because now it is in the teeth of the dog, and life is more pain or less pain. That becomes the life. When it is keeping distance, it can enjoy the sky and enjoy the earth. It changes completely, just the lack of judgment, and then it is a different game altogether. Same principle for us. We are given this extraordinary gift, which is great. Gift is wonderful, but along with that comes a message: keep a distance. When you are keeping a distance, you can enjoy the sky and also enjoy this gift in a beautiful way. Every moment is nice, and every person is nice, and camel is nice, and dragon is nice. Everything is nice if you are keeping a distance. If you come too close, the game changes. Then you will completely lose the sky. It doesn't even exist for you. And this life is more pain or less pain. That is a life. You are stuck into the Ravan's kingdom, complaining and worrying about something. This is the only thing, the whole, our human family, the message for them is here. Keep a distance. Okay, how much distance? Agreed, we have to keep a distance. How much distance? 1 meter, 2 meters? You can type the answers.
While we're waiting for the answers, Ganesh is asking, is the bird the soul and the dog Ravan?
Yes. For us, it is the soul is moving and dog is Ravan, yeah.
Felice, Sushma is saying, enough to stay safe.
Enough to save. Yeah, be a guest. It is a psychological distance. Be a guest and stay in this world. That dotted blue line, that's a psychological line. And the distance is psychological. So when you are reminding you are a guest, you got to exit, you are that invisible traveler, then you are keeping distance. And you are not deceived by this. Yeah, the dog is Ravan. If the dog was clever, what will this dog do? Even this Cambridge say, if that dog, now he's just running like a dumb. Those who were able to see this, they could see this bird is teasing this dog. Dog is just running behind. So if the dog was clever, what will he do?
Carol says, play dead.
Play dead. If the dog is extra clever, he will take a guitar and start singing the song. I love you, my life is for you, and there is a chance this bird might come down. If it is even more clever, keep some crumbs around, some cake crumbs and something around, and start playing your song, and there is a possibility it might deceive the bird. Ravan is more clever than that dog. Ravan is representing the dog, but he's more clever. He has got Maya and he has got cleverness how to deceive others. He keeps all this glitter and crumbs. And that's why you have to be extra cautious here with this Ravan's cleverness. That's why all are deceived because of this Ravan's dexterity. Yeah, excellent. I was going to read some other things, but Sarah, want to add anything?
The question from a little earlier from Ganesh. When the soul attains the Kamatit stage, does the relationship with the father as a guru or relationship with the Supreme Soul as a father, teacher, and guru end?
Guru remains guru, father remains father, and teacher remains teacher. Just that it is different. You are like a good child and good student and a good disciple. Yeah, the relationship remains. Confluence age is the age of this relationship. It is we need, as long as we are at a confluence age, we remain students and we remain children.
Sure, clear. There are just only comments about the dog at the moment, but no other questions.
Let us create a few minutes of experience. And we said following certain steps, they are important. And first step for us is we bring paras. Just like if you are doing anything, you have to follow steps, then you get results. First step, check that you are using paras. We said with patthar, you cannot be a yogi. Patthar favors ego. And what does it mean, Patthar? Story has become your world, as if it matters. First thing that happens with paras, you are seeing this camel elephant story. There are many things happening. It is a story. It has episodes. Each episode comes to an end. It has got script, variety of characters, but you are able to put a full stop. There are so many stories in this world. This is just another story. Bottom line is nothing matters. There is nothing to complain about, nothing to worry about in a story. you are able to step beyond the story. And beyond the story is silence, no noise of the story. Beyond the story is a reality. We see this world in the image of the sky, world of light, world where there are no limits, timeless. This is the home of these invisible actors and invisible travelers. This is the home. They are here in the image of the living stars. These are the living stars of the sky. This environment, this Paris environment, helps the soul to become conscious. It favors the soul. And only when the soul is conscious, he can have soul perspective. Conscious soul, he finds it normal to be that presence, normal to be immortal. He finds it so natural that he is beyond harm. Nothing can harm him. The awake soul feels this, exists forever. Just like in a story, many things happen. There may be war and fire, but it is happening in a screen film. At the same time, you know you are beyond harm. So the conscious soul, he knows this whole story. It is really a story, and he is beyond harm. And his world is beyond harm. He knows everyone is safe. Conscious soul knows he needs nothing from the story. Conscious soul is never a beggar, never a victim, never. Many things happen in the story. There is defamation and death and destruction. But the soul knows he's never did even the slightest, never deprived of anything. He cannot be denied of anything. That's why life is of celebration. silent celebration. There's nothing that he's craving for or worried about. He's that carefree emperor, carefree prince. But he also knows everyone else is good, immensely lovely. And he knows this at a deep level. He knows the natural nature of everyone. Godlike and childlike, without any exaggeration. That's why immense respect. And he knows that everyone is worthy of immense love. That's why we hear this in the Murli. Each one is lovelier than another. That is the truth of each one. From here, we look into the far, far distance. We see the great story. And as these carefree emperors, as they visit this great story, they come with that intoxication. Happiness of the sky. And the security of the sky. They know they are invisible travelers. They have an exit. And they have no intention to get stuck in that fiction. But they come as observers. So we take a break now and meet again.
Sure. And is there a kind of theme that you'd like to pick up on or highlight for the discussions?
The main area for us is how to protect ourselves from crossing that line, from deception. A dog coming with his cleverness, how to protect, how to stay in the sky, enjoy the sky.
Great. Some strategies ahead of time. So this time, if of course some may want to take a stretch break, if you're not planning to join the discussions, if you click later, then it means that we know those who are joining are able to share, and it will help us organize the rooms. So we'll meet back again in around 10 or 15 minutes, and creating opportunity for everyone in the group to share. Thank you. Greetings, welcome back. Let's create an opportunity for some meditation together before we continue. Thank you. And going to invite a couple of you to share, and very ever ready Nazanin is joining us from the States. So she's happy to share for a couple of minutes. So welcome.
Om Shanti, very good discussion. How do we protect ourselves during the day? And one of them was traffic control, so that we can. The first step is Amrit Vela, to have our thoughts completely focused on soul consciousness, starting with the paras intellect, and then during the day having the traffic control. The other one was considering the time as being very, very short, and what would we do if today was our last day in the confluence age, and how the kind of focus that we will have, the kind of consciousness that we will have, the kind of actions that we will perform, how much are we going to come in the sound? Are we going to stay in silence? Are we going to be that level of awareness and closeness of time? And the other one was that when we hook to whoever, the thoughts are, when they are connected to someone, we download their energy. So by hooking our thoughts to Baba, we download Baba's energy. And so there are two ways of thinking. One of them is to the tree of body consciousness comes with ego and lack of self-respect, and the tree of soul consciousness comes with love for Baba.
Nice.
And it's also one of us shared, we have to see, God says, just be like me. So mimicking what God would do in the situation. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much for summarizing from your group and also sharing your thoughts on the subject today. Also going to see if Sister Belinda is available. If you'd like to come into sound. Yep, we can see you.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, in our group, a few shared the importance of constant reminders to be aware of that line, which we cross so unconsciously. And and it's really just the practice of checking if the soul is awake, if the soul is conscious, that will reduce the amount of time that we actually do cross that line. And this in itself is success. So not to expect that the line, not to be harsh on the self, that the line shouldn't be crossed. It will be crossed. And just to keep reminding the self and noticing even when the line is crossed. Also found the analogy of the bird and the dog very helpful this morning. How something can be fun and entertaining and so light, as long as the attention is there. Even the dragons, and there will be dragons in the story because that's the nature of the story. Don't expect there not to be dragons. But just to pay that attention that the game doesn't change into a tragedy. Yeah, I think these were some of the things from this morning. Very, very helpful reminders. And also the word alokik, unearthly. And to fully come into this identity, that this is who I am, and it's the true I of the soul, alokik. Whether the soul is conscious or not, that truth doesn't change. We are always alokik. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Belinda, and also Nazanin. Yeah, this feels very soothing, always alokik, starting from there. And what I picked up from what Nazanin was saying about discipline, it's setting those like maybe hourly reminder or just like asking the self the question about being awake. And when Belinda was speaking, I was feeling of not overreacting to observing one has crossed the line. And coming back to this alokik choice, always a choice. And seeing it as a game, it's making the whole thing much easier in a way to digest. And also when Prashant said earlier, military is always there, but we don't know it until there's an attack. So Ravan is there, and until the soul starts to wake up, we don't really realize the Ravan. Our Ravan will resist. So it's good to know this beforehand. We've got the game plan. We understand the friend and we understand the enemy, and to empower the soul, the Sita, to take that power from Ram, to take the knowledge, to be like Ram. So Prashant is back, and come back to the last session. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to read a few lines in the spiritual writings, and let us listen to this with the soul awareness. Be humble, be harmless, have no pretension, be upright, forbearing, serve your teacher in true obedience, keeping the mind and the body in cleanness, tranquil, steadfast, master of ego, standing apart from the things of the senses, free from self, aware of the weakness in mortal nature, its bondage to birth, age, suffering, dying. To nothing be slave, nor desire possession of man, child, wife, of home or of household. Calmly encounter the painful, the pleasant. Adore me only with heart undistracted. Turn all your thought towards solitude, spurning the noise of the crowd, its fruitless commotion. Strive without ceasing to know the Atma. Seek this knowledge and comprehend clearly why you should seek it. Such, it is said, are the roots of true wisdom. Ignorance and ego merely is all that denies them. Something that is touched a few times. The biggest prize is right in front of the nose. Here we are talking what prize. To start with, it is eternal, true self. Conscious soul understands that true self is the invisible presence is also the invisible prince. This is the world with the God. This is a world of immortality, the prize, world of immense love. Everyone is clean. That's why we can use the word angelic and prince. They are clean inside out. Supreme reality. World of bliss and world of perfection. This is the reality. It is not just visiting a museum. This is the reality. This is the truth. And it is also the prize. Right in front of the nose. Everyone. If there is anything that can deny this to the soul, is ignorance. Ignorance merely is all that denies this. Another is ego. Ego is stubborn to keep this prince in degradation. It's the game. We have the strength. There are certain factors that are in favor for us. Since ignorance is the factor that denies, there has to be attention on light to dispel this ignorance in ourselves, in others. Let this be the mission, to stay in light, to create light, not the words. Talk of light may not do anything. There has to be light. So you are seeing through this truth. That is, then you are creating light. You are seeing the truth of others, truth of the world. Sometimes the word gets used, lighthouse. You are creating light in this. This big truth is there, but if there is no light, then no one experiences it. In any museum, if there is something most beautiful, but there is no light, then no one will go there. So your attention is like light. Starting with the self, you are giving attention to this truth. And seeing the wonder of everyone, their greatness and their immortality. You are seeing that silent celebration, and you are seeing the home, just seeing it. Then that these seconds, minutes, you are creating light. One is it's a huge karma. Confluence aged karma is this. You are defeating Ravan and freeing the souls from this illness of half the cycle. That is a huge karma. All the time aware that the soul that is conscious naturally is aware of the greatness of others, worthiness, that they are worthy to be loved by God. Awake soul is worthy to be loved by God. Knows love remains, the worthiness is a factor that is variable. If there is ego mixed, ego will not feel worthy for all reasons. Ego will go in its own time. Here at the present, from the first day, we have the option to bypass ego. We don't need to make effort from ego. So when we do visit this story world, when this invisible prince is visiting the story world, the only reason he comes in this story world is to reach his invisible brothers, alaukic brothers. The confluence age, this is the purpose, this is the mission. Otherwise, he is very aware that physical world is the field of action of Ravan. If he shows even the slightest interest anywhere in that plastic box, he can get deceived. This is the inner checking. You are in this world, soul comes as a trustee. He deals with various things, uses various things, but attention is to reach the invisible brothers. So body needs certain food, he gives to the body, but not with the interest of the food. If that attitude is kept, he is safe. He is a prince. He has got big reality beyond. Here he is careful not to be deceived. Thank you. One nice story, another story. This story is in a book, one scientist by name Peter Russell, and his book is on environment and what is happening to the planet. And the first chapter is this story. And in this story, one train has gone off the rails and it is heading towards the cliff. and the driver jumped out. So there is no driver, and it is heading towards a cliff. It is off the rails. And the passengers, they are having a party, oblivious to what is happening to the train. He paints this scenario and he says, now the planet Earth is in the position of this train. It is heading towards a cliff and off the rails, but the passengers are having party, don't want to hear what is happening. And everyone wants cakes, and there are people who are giving cakes and bringing more cakes. And the question arises, what will you do if you have an option to come out of the train? And what if your loved ones are in the train with you? What is your sign of love? Will you give them another cake or make them a nice cushion, a nice cabin? Or will you take them out of the party, out of the train? So if this planet is the train, every second you are aware of your home. You are connected to that home. You are aware of the Father. You are aware of the soul. You are aware of the exit. You are aware you are the traveler here. You are a guest here. Thinking of the home, subtle region, golden age, but not this world. During those times, you are out of the train. If you study the yoga, what Baba emphasizes, it is come out of this train. Create bonds with the other world. Experience this. When you are just thinking of this train, means you are just thinking what happened today and someone was nice, nothing extraordinary, nothing bad, just thinking something is pleasant and you got some success somewhere in work. You are in the train. When you are creating new attachments, then during those seconds and during those minutes, you are getting tied in the train. But certain of our life situations, addictions, lust, and some human relationships, they can become like a double knot. One is tied in that sinking train with the double knot. So even if you choose to come out, you can't easily come out. Tied in a deep way. So here is the scenario for us, that we all are the passengers in this train, and we understand what is being sensible, what is the sign of helping oneself, what is the sign of helping others. So at this time, if we are just thinking we are nice to others and giving them cakes, and if the train is about to go to the cliff and I'm inviting someone in a party and giving them cakes, it is not love, it is a deception. They might otherwise might have come out, but my cake might deceive them. Or if I am myself deceived by the cake, then it is a bad news. Time is wasted. So the big formula, message for the world, let me first see how I can get out of this sinking train. And if there are any knots, how I can become free from these knots. Let me at least see if there are knots. As was said before, when you are not making effort, you might realize there are no knots. Only when you try to move, you realize that there are knots and ropes. It's some process, you want to observe. Knots exist with all kinds of delusion. There's something we read here. This I and my, to want to own someone, can be household and house. In this story, you are creating all these bondages, delusion in the story. These are knots. One is trapped with these different belief structures in this train. Say you have come out of the train, you have come to God. God says, great, you have become free. To come out of the train, this is not just death, but you have become free from all the knots. Clearly understood story. You got no preference even in the story. Nothing in that camel and elephant world can disturb you. Then you have become free. Okay, you have become free. So God says, great, before it is too late, you have become free. But now go back in that train. Go back to that same body, same town, same family, same job. But what's the difference? Now you are going there for a mission. Earlier you were there for Ravan's mission. With that ignorance, me, my, I, ego also wanted to show. That's why full time, busy. To come out of the train means to finish all that. And you are going back in that world as a trustee, using things for the God's mission. You are using that body for the other mission. And a very clear mission. There are billions, 7.8 billion souls. They are all your brothers. They are all deceived in this train with different kinds of cakes. And there are some who may be ready to come out of it, want to come out, just need a little hand. And at the present time, this is the need. This is the need of the hour. As the water level rises, more people want to come out. That is the law. Right now, the cakes are still coming. In spite of Corona and all, they are just trying to postpone this so that they can have party can go on. So cakes are coming in, but water level, as the water level rises, everyone want to come out. You may have to think of it and be prepared beforehand. It is the need of the time, present time. But one precaution, God sends you in the train, go in the train. But one caution, what's the caution? Or I should say two cautions. He says two cautions. One is Stay near the door. So when there is a signal, you are free. So that is one caution. You help, but your exit, you are ever ready at any moment. In the name of rescue, you shouldn't get deceived yourselves either. So that is one. What is the second caution?
Don't join the party.
Yes. Yeah, don't join the party yourselves, because new kinds of cakes will come, new kinds of glitter will come. Understand? It's a game of the intellect. Use the intellect not to be deceived. Yeah, excellent. So any other comments, thoughts?
On this subject, there are not questions right now, but I'm sure they're coming. I was just personally reflecting on how the main deception is human relationships. And that is a big department. But something was mentioned earlier.
I can just make one comment here.
Good.
Something that is very practical. You mentioned main deception is human. And there is a reason why it is human. Because at our original level, we said everyone is immensely lovely. They're childlike, godlike. We have great love for souls. Just that in our present state, it is displaced. That whole energy is transferred at the drama level, in the Cinderella world, camel elephant. And it is messy, because here it prevents you from even discovering yourselves. So the nice program transfer whenever you are having even a thought about any human being, see the soul, because then you are really useful to the person. When you are thinking of the bodily being, you are creating problem to the other person, soul. The energy is, you are pulling the other person also in the train. So see the soul, and have soul is worthy of respect, worthy of love. Your attachments to the soul is silent, and this is whatever that is eternal. You have right to have attachments there. Our only caution is don't create attachments in the temporary camel and elephant world. So your bond of love for God, love for souls, that is natural, and that is good. But what is in the Lokik world, that is where the problem is.
Yes, thank you. It's good reorientation and bringing in the camel analogy. A question has come from Isabel. If others are not interested in going out and just want to have fun, what to do? Maybe just wait and be there and create light until they want to get out?
We may have to have different levels. As we said, there are some. Our world is not just a few people, family. The whole human 8 billions. That is our family. All the souls are the family. So in this big family, there are some who want to come out. They just want a little hand and they will come out of it. And there are some who say, no, never I will come out of these party cakes. And nothing is going to happen to the train. So there are some who will be like that. And there will be some who will be in the party until the last moment. Even when the train is going to crash, they will still be with the cake. So you know this, there will be whole gradient, all kind. But you do your duty. You may have to approach one gathering differently. You may have to tell them what is happening to the train, clarify, and it is time, a serious time to come out of the train. Maybe one might come out. You might be able to convince one, but there are others who might. But you may like to build a scaffolding that in the meantime, if there is still free time, build a scaffolding, because when the water level rises, then suddenly everyone wants to come out.
It's helpful. A bit earlier, Nazanin said, even if nothing matters in the story, we can worry about not getting to being Karmatit before the end. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, that is what the ego-based effort is. When it is ego-based effort, that will happen. But as the ego becomes smaller, then it is fun. The whole journey is fun.
And on the subject of the train, when souls in the train seek help, is it more physical than spiritual? And what can an awake soul do?
It is only spiritual. The physical example to speak about spiritual. But help is at all levels. And it might mean you may have to literally give books or handouts. That is, but your mind, time, attitude, vision, everything has value in this. More value. Your stage and your attitude has more value.
Yes, thank you. A little earlier, based on the readings that you read out, message or question from Karen. Can you clarify a bit on true obedience? Serve your teacher in true obedience.
Yes, here our teacher is God, and something we read earlier, be bodiless. As a guru, follow the guru, we read in the Murli. I give the date, 26th June 1969, that Murli. And Baba is saying, as a guru, what is the central things you have to be obedient? Be bodiless, egoless, detached. Be completely detached. Become incorporeal. To understand what this means. All the teachings from the Guru are to gain victory over Ravan. Ravan has other agenda. Ravan has, in his ignorance, he wants to hold you in that web. So the various things that are given in what we say, learn in the Murli, 100%, its aim is to free you from the web. But obedience, because the ego within you wants to rebel against it. So in this victory process, we need energy of obedience, commitment, promise, determination. These are then you gain victory to overcome Ravan's stubbornness.
Karen says very clear. Feels like it's connected to recognition also. Another quick question from Karen. To calmly encounter the painful, how is this? Could you expand a little?
Sure. In a simple example, in the story, and suddenly elephant is not nice to camel, and an elephant is criticizing camel's nose. Next thing is everyone is praising camel's nose. So one moment there is painful situation. Next moment it is such everyone's giving you flowers. But one who is acting camel and camel part, he's calmly dealing with all these situations of defamation one moment and praise one moment, painful and pleasant. A simple example, but it can be whole thing. The episode comes to an end and camel is out of the drama, and the whole thing is a joke.
Yes, very clear. Ganesh typed, there are people following other spiritual beliefs and have a love for God. Will God awaken them through subtle visions?
The sincerity that has a part. Ultimately, God's part is to awaken the whole. Whether they follow spiritual path of some kind, they are atheist, they are defaming God. Really, nothing has matters in this case. Everyone has crossed a line. Everyone is confused. Those who say God, 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 and there are some who are defaming God. All are in the same boat. They're all confused. So God has planned to rescue everyone. But at the present time, more we pull ourselves out of this um, sinking train, we are useful for this big task of God. Visions, whatever the appropriate method, that there are many options for God.
Thank you. So just aware of time, and there are no more questions at this stage. So I don't know if you want to share anything final before we close.
And we'll be creating 1 minute of practice. But any announcements? Or shall we practice and then you create then you may have announcements.
Yeah, maybe I'll just say now that we will leave a screen after the practice, which will tell the information for the follow-up, another retreat, which is Yog Prayog, yoga experiments. It'll be in 3 weeks' time, 11th to 13th of September, and we'll also send an email with the registration details. So advanced students, yourself, and those who've completed Sanjeevani retreat are welcome. And it will be in Hindi, Spanish, and former Yugoslavian language translation. So that's all. So maybe we'll finish with the practice and then we'll leave the information for you. Thank you.
And as always, coming back to the essence. And the essence for us is so simple, coming to the point. And this point is independent of everything, including this camel and this gathering here. So we are going beyond the whole thing. That presence, knowing that its world is timeless, expanse of light. Invisible presence in that expanse. And this is all it need to know. He has no unfinished business of any kind. Om Shanti. Thank you very much for joining and making this nice gathering, contributing, and making a rich environment. Appreciate it. Meet again soon.
Thank you. And, big thanks to everyone, and a special thanks to the translation brothers and sisters for your hard incognito work, and all for creating time. So meet again soon. Thanks to Prashant also. Om Shanti.